Hopefully a short video. I'm pretty sure it will be. This is about a mythology that's promoted by conspiracy theorists. Mythology about alternative history usually involves making it very complicated, like a Nancy Drew mystery from the old days. And that's it. It's almost never anything you should value, so I'll just read it. Under alternative history, in 2007 or maybe earlier, the only book written by Alex Christopher was published called Pandora's Box, The Ultimate Unseen Hand Behind the New World Order, or something about it being, what was the wording that's used? Fraud, New World Order, etc. The basic thing here is you throw all of the trigger words of people wanting revenge. They feel they've been wronged, so they want to hear about it being fraud or something like that. And conspiracy theorists, especially the kind that would put liens on your property they have no right to and claim rights against you because they can get away with it, and talk about post offices being more powerful than the presidency or whatever. These kind of people are drawn to revenge fantasies. And this is a revenge fantasy, pure and simple. 1785 to 1860, Daniel Payseur, or Payseur, which was the original pronunciation, existed, and he had a son. The claim someone made is he was the illegitimate son of a king or queen in France, and decided Payseur meant paymaster. That's not what it means, because it was originally Payseur, which is different. He had a son named Jonas W. Payseur, 1819 to 1884, and he had a son, Louis Cass Payseur, North Carolina postmaster. Now, again, that's trigger words. If you're a sovereign citizen, you're going to have all sorts of mythology about Benjamin Franklin and postmasters and that sort of thing. And that was from 1850 to 1839. He had 3 daughters, no sons. Now, according to conventional wisdom, unless they're explicitly labeled in a will, once they're married, they no longer are connected to any kind of inheritance. If you're not aware of that, you are now. But that's, So anyway, there was Una and Pearl, but the eldest one, named Iola Madelyn Payseur, married 2 different men, one and then the other. Oh yeah, that's going to be a problem if you're going to claim some direct bloodline or inheritance. Anyway, she lived from 1876 to 1972, and was married to George Boddie Gatling. None of these people are related to Richard George Gatling, who invented the Gatling gun in 1861. Anyway, George Boddie Gatling, if you can get his middle name, and combine it with Iola Madelyn Payseur. Anyway, George was existing from 1875 to 1945. Lola outlived him, and that makes her nothing. There's no connection between the Gatling gun organization or company, the inventor, nor is there a connection between her and her great-great-grandfather. So what is this about? It's about someone deciding that someone named Gatling had to be the guy who invented the Gatling gun or something related. They're not related. There isn't any connection anybody can find. Anyway, the mythology. 1971, the family decided to sell its old estate. Found a secret safe and secret vast holdings as owner of hundreds of corporations in the United States and around the world, all lands granted to the railroads and the railroad companies themselves. And then from there it balloons up to adding in any company you want to give, including Microsoft Corporation, which has a clear past that they're not related to at all. What is this based on? The idea that the person found individual stock certificates labeled stock certificate number 1, type A, and that meant that you owned the entire company even though it was just one of many stock certificates. The first stock certificate is no more valuable than the last one unless the stock splits or does something specific. There are some stocks that are given out that are given more value, but they say that they're worth a certain number of stocks. They're not just a stock value. It has to say a stock certificate symbolizing or being instead of an investment worth 10 times the stock value or something. The claim is the first stock certificate would be handed out to the principals that ran the company, which is actually something that's done ceremonial or whatever. But that's if they're going to act as investors and part owners, not the originators of the company necessarily. But anyway, type A, or number 1, means that no matter what its face value is, you have dominant control and own half the company or something. And what evidence is provided? Nothing. Again, they're not related to Gatling. Richard Jordan Gatling invented the Gatling gun. Someone will come up with a conspiracy theory about that. Now, what is this based on? These are the same people that decided your birth certificate, because it's printed on special papers worth $1 million, that it has other meanings other than what it is. That kind of person that believes that kind of stuff isn't going to listen to reason. But I'm going to bring up something even more damning. Daniel Payseur had a father, George Payseur II, and before him, the first, a clear lineage going back. Inheritance, including in France, is done not through whoever's powerful or famous, but from man to son, normally. This is how this was done in most of the world. The genie.com people search finds this clear and simple, and then when you look up these names, you find the same genealogy duplicated, along with actual images of the records that it was based on. So why is this brought up? It's one of many mythologies people bring up to try to back up the idea that there are the 13 bloodlines of alien shapeshifters that are running the earth, and this is one of them, and it has to go back to Queen Antoinette. Marie Antoinette. Son must be Daniel Payseur, even though, I don't know if you know this, but a woman illegitimately having a child is a little bit more difficult to hide or make secret than a man. They'd kind of notice the baby coming out of her. So this is horse shit. Are there people or families that have stock and stock options in businesses and just don't tell anybody? Yeah, there are secret rich people, but they don't let themselves be known, and they normally don't wield a lot of power because they're just trying to stay rich. The point of being rich is either to have power or money or both if you can. But if you try to have power and wealth, it normally negates being secret. People like the idea that there's a secret cabal running the planet because it seems to give it a sense of order, and then you can have your good versus bad morality play be reality. But the morality play is not the reality at play. They're not related to Gatling gun. This is a basic error in the book. Next, reviews of the books by Alex Christopher and every other page like this point out that the individual made massive errors, like just assuming that anybody named Gatling had to be related. Or, well, I'll just make up this story of all this kind of stuff. So anyway, down below in the description, you'll find out that, yeah, except for the mentioning of a person being a postmaster, which is a claim, I can't even track that down exactly, but okay, we'll assume it's possible. A postmaster in North Carolina, big deal. These are people who literally deify being somebody involving the postal system. I want you to understand that that's actually a thing in a particular variety of people on the net, and they will scream at you and yell at you, argue you blue in the face, or just ignore you and say, I'm right, because the post office is somehow more powerful than, the postmaster is more powerful than the president. And they will come up with a mythology that proves it. Or more powerful than a judge, even though judges overrule the postmaster and the postal system all the time. And people will then scream at me, you're wrong. So what is this? Alternative history is a code word for making shit up, a lot of the time. This is a book written by a person in 2007. It has only a few reviews, and they only review that the work is poorly done. And you can download a free PDF without spending money on it, so go ahead and do so. I'll leave some links below. And most of them are not just copies of the work, but remixes where they add in more crap and more crap. There is no original version on the net except for the 2007 version if you can find it. And it's basically a copy of the book. It's like X number of 100 pages, and that's it. And it tells you a fairy tale. So no, these people don't run the world, and who runs the world? We do, we do. You know, Stonecutter song. But nobody here is related to Marie Antoinette, and none of these people are related to the Gatling Gun Company. So I'm going to put their names in the video title. This is a lie, and people will repeat it, and arguing with them doesn't work. So here's what I'm telling you to do. Read the links below in the description, and don't tell me I'm wrong. Just sit there and say to yourself, yes, this is true, or yes, it's a lie. Believe what you wish. But if somebody lied to you, please don't give them money on Patreon. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.